Questions and Answers with Sally Baker from Family Connection, South Carolina. What did Family Connection of South Carolina learn from using the Supporting Your Child's Literacy Development at Home tutorial and facilitator's guide?
We learned a lot of things, but these are just a couple of things that we were able to take away from our time, doing this with Sarah and Ensel. Families really benefit from that clear communication about expectations for their children. I think sometimes as parents, we want to put off that persona that we got this. We know all the things, we're good. But maybe we don't really know what's expected of a 7-year-old. Maybe I really don't know where a 3-year-old should be in their journey. Maybe as a parent, I don't know that having a conversation actually helps build their literacy skills. And so how do we support that? And these resources from Ensel are phenomenal for that. We know that families don't always have the same background information as and experiences as professionals. My husband, if he knew all the examples I gave using him, he'd probably be a little flustered. But one of my favorite examples is my husband picked up my child when he was 2 or 3 from preschool. And I was like, hey, how was the day? He was like, yeah, I got there and they were reading like some book about 5 little monkeys. And I was like, sorry, you don't know the 5 little monkeys? Like, your mother worked in elementary school. I have a background in literacy. We're buying the book today. And so now, but it's that rhyming and it's that pattern, it's that repetition. Why is it, so important to read the same book, as annoying as it is, over and over and over again every time they ask you to read it? These are things that are talked about and discussed in this tutorial and in these modules, why it's important and why and how to have that conversation with your child, or if you're a professional, why to have that conversation with a parent. We just realized too that sometimes professionals, we all fall into it. I'm putting myself in that bucket right now. Forget that sometimes family engagement is more than just sending that note home on the day that a child has a good day or something great happens, but that we can have this engagement back and forth on things that help their development. And so specifically looking at literacy, how can we help develop our children and this engagement back and forth at home? Maybe it's that you've got a grant that you can get books in their hands for families. There's all kinds of resources out there to gain that. But how do we just engage in this conversation? How do we model that to our children so that they become strong readers? And we know too, the world's changing, and a lot of reading things, is on technology now. And so how do we have that conversation? And some of that is moving into what I think is in the adolescent strand. We focus more so on the preschool and elementary so far. But we've really been able to think about and do these types of things with families and get it into their hands. So what's next for Family Connection? You can go to the next one. We are continuing to provide this training to parents. COVID slowed us down a little bit. We kind of took all of our trainings offline for a little while, and we're coming back online. And this is something that we continue to provide and that has continued to be asked for by schools, by parents, by different groups. We are continuing to, anytime Ensel puts out new resources, we look at those, incorporate them as we need to, push them out to our families in that peer-to-peer model that I mentioned earlier. And then through this project, Sarah helped us in looking at our South Carolina state standards and really aligned and looked at what this module has to offer aligns with those standards in our state. And through that, we actually were able to create a partnership with our Department of Education to create a program called Text to Read. Text to Read is a free voluntary texting platform where we send out weekly to those people who have enrolled, again, voluntarily. Every week they get a text message. It's a quick and easy, simple message about literacy, and it could be going to your library and getting a library card with your child. It could be, that how do you have a thick conversation, something very quick and easy that everyone gets to look at and participate in. And most recently, our state department, or our Office of Special Education Services, has created a TA provider network, and Family Connection is actually one of the partners of that network. And our role is to help bring evidence-based practices that promote family engagement. And literacy is a huge thing that everyone's talking about and looking for different resources and evidence-based backing. And this is that. And so we're excited to be able to take this and now move it into how do we help schools with family engagement around our state specifically related to literacy. So we have loved this training. I could literally talk about it all day because it makes me so excited. But we've had a lot of really great success with it, and we're really excited about our partnership with INSIL and that it continues to move forward.
Thanks for watching this Q&A with Sally Baker from Family Connection South Carolina about aligning home and school practices using the Supporting Your Child's Literacy Development at Home tutorial and facilitator's guide. You can find out more about supporting your child's literacy development at home in the Implementation Toolkit on the National Center on Improving Literacy's website, improvingliteracy.org. Watch another video in our Question and Answer series with Sally Baker from Family Connection South Carolina.